So I want to talk about Jon Jones quickly because he infuriates me. I don't understand his behaviour. It's like there's something wrong with him. So before I go into this rant, I'm going to just say that Jon Jones is a fantastic talent. He's a fantastic fighter. He is one of the best, if not the best, we have ever seen inside the octagon. He's fantastic. He's great. Brilliant. Not taking any of that away from him. I just want that on record now. Having said that, I do not understand his behaviour. He acts like a child. It's unbelievable. There's a couple of things I want to pick out here. Obviously, he failed multiple drug tests by USADA. There was rumours of him hiding from USADA. There was a DUI. There was a hit and run against a pregnant lady where he hit a pregnant lady with his car, ran off, came back, grabbed money and ran off again, hid from the police for 24 hours and then handed himself in. There's been so many things that Jon Jones has done in his career that have been so questionable, and just his morals as a human being. And I understand that people have problems and he's probably trying to work through them, and that's great. But I'm not even talking about any of that. So you can put all that to one side. Excuse me. You put all that to one side. Put it to one side. I'm talking about his behaviour on Twitter. So he said things, and I'll show you now. I'll talk through a couple of them. So here's one. When Khabib beat Justin Gaethje, Khabib moved to number 1 in the pound-for-pound rankings, and Jon Jones was number 2. Jon Jones couldn't let Khabib have his moment, knowing that Khabib was retiring. He jumped in on Twitter and started talking about he didn't do this and he didn't do that and he's not been around as long as I have. Why can't you just let him have his moment? Then he's going to retire and then he'll be back at the top. I don't understand the mindset of someone like that he just has to be on there. And he's done it again with Stipe. So Stipe's lost and people are calling him the best heavyweight ever. And he's gone and said, let's not forget Stipe lost to DC. Stipe only defended his belt like 5 times to my 15. The man showed up at 230 pounds to fight against Francis. He is no Jon Jones. Blah, blah, blah. Why is he doing that? Why is he kicking a man when he's down? I don't understand that mindset. The other thing is, Dana said at the press conference, he said, he was asked a question as to whether or not Jon Jones is going to fight Francis Ngannou next, which we kind of knew was the fight that was going to happen because Jon Jones has vacated his light heavyweight title, put on a load of muscle, and announced he was moving to heavyweight. Dana then said, well, Jon Jones will fight the winner of Stipe and Francis. So now it's come to that point. Dana was asked, is that the fight to make? And Dana went, well, no, Derek Lewis is the fight to make, but Jon Jones, if you want that fight, ring Hunter, which is their sort of lawyer, legal, deals with some of the big high-up fights. Ring Hunter and we'll make that fight. He didn't have a dig at Jon Jones. Jon Jones then went straight on Twitter and was tweeting, people are saying I'm scared of Francis now, blah, 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 blah. No, that's not what he said. He also made a joke about you going down to 185 that was completely tongue-in-cheek, and Jon Jones has again reacted like a child. I don't understand. There's a couple of things that I liked what Dana did, and there's a couple of things that I didn't. And what I liked what he did is he looked right down the lens and he said, if you want that fight, call Hunter now. Well, that calls John's bluff, doesn't it? Because if Jon wants that fight, he has to pick up the phone and ring Hunter. And if he doesn't, Hunter's phone won't ring. And I'll suspect it probably didn't ring. But I guess we won't know that. The thing I didn't like what Dana did is he kind of put it on Jon there. He put it on Jon, whereas the UFC make the fights. You know, the UFC should go, right, Jon, this is the fight. And Jon keeps talking about pay. And that seems to be his main driving force, is he's got a problem with pay. And I do understand that. But at the same time, you signed a contract. You did. You signed a contract that said, I am okay being paid this much to fight. He probably signed a 6 or 8 fight contract. So if you think that you're not going to be happy after 3 fights getting paid what you're getting paid, Bearing in mind he probably gets paid 500 grand every time he fights, plus he gets pay-per-view points because he was a champion. So he's been making millions every time he fights. And he keeps going on about Conor McGregor. Well, Conor has the numbers. Conor will do 1.1, 1.3, 1.6. You'll do 500, 600,000. And that's the difference. That's why he gets paid that, and you get paid that. That's why he turns up on a yacht, and you don't. But if you sign a contract, John, knowing full well it's for 8 fights, don't sign it and then after 3 fights go, oh, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm not happy with that. That's not how it works. It's never been how it works. And this isn't specific to John, this piece here. I don't know what Jon Jones's contract is. So he might be, the fact that he's now gone to heavyweight and he doesn't have his light heavyweight title, there may be something in there that when he's no longer champion, he signs a new... I don't know. What I'm saying is, to general fighters, if you sign a deal and you sign a 3 or 4 or 5 fight deal for a certain amount of money, you know that that might not be the case after 3 or 4 fights. So don't sign such a long deal. I don't understand the mindset when that happens. If you're fighting for a belt, I get it. If you're fighting with Conor McGregor, I get it. If you're moving weight class and going to fight Francis Ngannou, I get it. My frustration is the UFC and Jon Jones have known that Jon Jones was going to challenge the winner of this fight for the heavyweight title. So why are we in a position now, after the fight's happened, that there isn't a fight done? The fight should have been done. Signed, sealed, delivered. Jones should have been there. They should have had the fight done. You fight the winner of this. They should have had him in the ring and done that whole thing, and they didn't do it, and I think they missed. So I know I've kind of skew-whiffed off from my little rant about Jon Jones, but I just don't understand his behaviour. I don't like it. He is fantastic. He is a great talent. I don't take any of that away from him. I just don't understand why he acts like a child on social media. And, Conor does it to a certain extent. Conor gets a pass. Conor's done bad things in the past. Conor gets a pass. Chael used to, do things on social media. Izzy has kind of behaved questionably every now and then. But on the whole, Jon Jones is a machine gun fire of shit on social media. And he's not very likeable. And I think that's the problem.